why has there been such a movement, for instance, however, away from earlier models of social democracy, for instance, in Denmark, or even among, even with labor in the United Kingdom? I mean, towards
because
policies
these models of social democracy had gone too far to the other extreme. The most successful economies in history have been mixed economies. If you have a bureaucratic state centralized planning, that's not going to work because that's a huge overhead, and these models became corrupted and just overblown. But the reaction was to go to the other extreme and have a free market economy. Now, the free marketers, people who call themselves free marketers, really opposed the government and opposed government planning because government planning had become corrupt. Government planning throughout Europe and America had been taken over by the banks. But if you get rid of government planning, somebody's going to do forward planning. Every economy since the Stone Age has been planned. The question is, who's going to do it? And if the government doesn't do the planning, then the banks end up doing the planning. So in opposing government planning and dismantling the government, you've turned power to an even more centralized, even more inefficient, even more costly form, and that's the banks. And the neoliberals and the people who designed the Latvian economy had blinders. They didn't see that the banks would become the planners instead of the government. They had a fairy tale in their mind. They imagined that if you got rid of government planning, everybody as individuals would plan. But Latvian individuals have to plan within a context of an economy that's shaped by the banks. And the banks say, how much can we take from them? Banks don't really produce a product like the real economy. The product banks produce is debt. And they've produced enough debt to absorb the entire disposable personal income of most Latvians. So what they make over and above eating and going to work is used to pay the banks. Or it's used to pay the taxes that's used to pay the banks. Or it's used to pay the high prices for the telephones or for the monopolies that the monopolists used to pay the banks for the bank loans that they took out to buy these companies. So they're being bled by a centrally planned economy that's planned really by the oligarchs. So the idea was to get rid of the old bureaucracy that you had under communism, and now you have a financial bureaucracy, often run by exactly the same people who were running the economy before 1991. So they've just changed their clothes.